Listen, here's the thing. If you can't spot the sucker in your first half hour at the table, then you are the sucker.
Hi guys, and this is Scrimitzu for PokerVIP.com. I'm going to evaluate some of your hands that you've posted in my thread, and also maybe look at some other hands that are posted in the strategy forum and try to evaluate them. So let's go. So guys, if you've not already knew this, I'm making a new video series that will be called Professional Advice. So just scooch on to my thread into Poker Strategy and just go to Professional Advice. You guys ask, I answer. And just post here, you see. So basically, just go to this thread and post hands like this guy, like Camcat, or Joe did links to his hands. So just go on there and post hands so that I can analyze them and tell you my thoughts and my general. I can use my general poker expertise to basically get you out of shitty situations. So just come in, post hands, post stats on the villains and on the rest of the table, and I'll just give you my thoughts. And it's basically like free coaching. So why not? So let's see the first hand that Camcat has posted. Hi Scrimitzu, what do you think about this flop 3-bet? Villain looks pretty aggro, 26, 16, 6.5 aggression. So off the bat, he's kind of calling pre-flop a lot more. Like maybe it would I could use his 3-bet, so that I could see if he's 3-betting a wide range, even if you're opening like early position, maybe he could be 3-betting like big blind versus under the gun, something like 8%. So also 6.5 aggression factor is kind of big. That's a villain that could make a lot of raises on the flop. His check raise on the flop would be really nice here. Also 6.5 aggression factor, over 200 hands. It's pretty okay-ish, I guess, but I could use a bigger sample. So maybe if you've played some more hands against this guy, maybe you could have more stats. And also, did you know? Did you have these 200 hands when you were playing him, or did you actually have like less than that? Because usually you look at the stats after the session and you see, oh right, he was a 6.5 aggression factor over 200 hands. But when you actually play the hands, maybe you had only 100, maybe you had only 50. So these moves, I don't know. You'll see. I have already watched this hand. You guys will see. So also, what would you consider to be a good pre-flop flatting range from the big blind versus a late position raiser? Just because it depends on the late position raiser's range, but I would consider a good flatting range. Like let's just open. I'll use Poker Stove this time. So I'll just open ranges. So my flatting range, basically, the first thing that I like to do, and most of you guys might not like it, but I kind of do this. I just flat these hands, just because if you're 3-betting, you might fold his ace-10, you might fold his ace-9, you might fold all his bottom aces, all these aces. You might fold them just because he might be folding aces and just calling with ace queen, ace queen, ace jack. Maybe he's even folding ace jack. So if you're 3-betting ace queen and folding ace jack, that's super bad. So that's why I like to call these hands also. I don't like to 3-bet them. Ace 10, king jack suited, jack 10 I don't like calling. I like 3-betting jack 10 suited. I like 3-betting jack 10 offsuit. But queen 10 suited, king 10 suited, I like to call these hands. Just because I think, and also pairs, I like to call these pairs. I don't, versus some opponents, I do 3-bet 9s. Jacks is a question mark, just because some opponents have a really tight 4-betting range, and you don't want to be 3-betting jacks just because you'll have to fold them after that. So maybe you'll want to transform some other hands into bluffs and just try to get value from jacks post flop. Just try to call down, or like call queen 8-3, maybe even 2 streets if you know that he's barreling a lot of turns. So That's why I kind of sometimes like to flat jacks. I know that this is diminishing my value range, but I like from the blinds. From the blinds, I like to 3-bet these hands. So it's the ace deuce suited up until ace 9 suited, some kings, and also I like to flat this one. So I'll basically be 3-betting queen 9 suited, queen 8, all the kings, all the aces, and also the value range, which is kings plus queens plus ace king. Sometimes, so if I 3-bet this, some players will start to adjust. So that's when you'll have to start 3-betting jacks and tens. But most players don't adjust accordingly, so they'll just like 4-bet bluff you like an insane amount of the time. So that's when you can start shoving 9s, 10s, and jacks, and maybe ace jack. So basically, this is my calling range from the blind. So now let's discuss the hand. It's a really interesting hand. So you raise from the cutoff with ace 3 suited. The big blind calls, and up comes queen, queen 5, 2 diamonds. So this is going a little bit fast. So now you bet 0.77 into 1.14 pot. I like the sizing. It's not. I don't think it's it's not 3/4, or it is. It is. There's basically 3/4 of the pot. I like the sizing just because you'll do this with all sorts of hands like aces or kings or a queen or all sorts of value hands, and also with air. So basically, maybe also with overpairs to the 5. So also with ace king of diamonds, ace queen of diamonds, and all hands, all draws. So this bet sizing is pretty good. This raise is kind of the it really looks like he could have air here, like 1.80 around 2.5x of the raise, almost exactly 2.5x of the raise. So basically what this player is telling you is that, alright, I have some bluffs in my range. But the problem is, so I know what you're thinking. I know that isn't representing like anything here except, so his value range is so weak that he could only have like a queen. He's calling with maybe queen jack, king queen, ace queen there, so ace queen, king queen, queen jack, maybe even queen 10. He's a 26-16, so maybe he calls those hands too. Maybe he calls some sort of queen 9 suited. He always calls 5, obviously, so that's his value range. It's kind of, maybe you're thinking here, right, he may call, but he has a 6.5 aggression factor, so I'm thinking that he will raise any queen on the flop. 5s, like, maybe everyone calls 5s, but he would also raise some draws like ace jack, like king jack of diamonds, jack 10 of diamonds probably. So even if he has 6.5 aggression factor, he has a shitload of hands that he can raise here on the flop. And also the raise is kind of it's kind of a more like 2.5. It's kind of more either he's raising not so rare here, or it may look like he's raising this just to make you 3-bet the flop, so he can shove draws over your 3-bet. So if you just re-raise, so he's raising small, you re-raise to around 5, right? I don't know how the hand exactly went through, but if you re-raise to around 5, he has enough room to shove for you to fold a lot of times. So if he has diamonds, this is the perfect line to take. It's not, he wouldn't like raise that much with diamonds. So let's just see how the hand really turns up. So this 3-bet I don't really like. I don't. So also this re-raise is so sick. This 3-bet I don't really like, just because I don't think he has enough air here when he's raising this flop. He may have like some sort of weirdly played ace jack with an ace of diamonds or something like that. But when you raise here the 4th, so who would actually call a queen here? I don't know. I do not know. who would call a queen here. Like, I'm sorry, who would actually 3-bet a queen on this flop? I'd surely call. You would call. Probably anyone would just flat call a queen and let him bluff the turn. Like, a raise doesn't make sense here. Fives, you would always fist pump flat call here, just to let him bluff his draws. I'm not sure that you're like as a player, you're not that scared of getting outdrawn on the turn on this flop. It's a paired board, so a diamond doesn't really count that much. I would flat any queen here. I would flat any queen. Not even raising ace queen. So I would just flat and let him donk off. Maybe raise the turn if it's not the diamond. So basically the 3-bet here, you're not basically repping anything. That's the problem. So even if the villain is not that perceptive, so he doesn't really know that much about you, or he doesn't really think that deep for you to not be representing like anything on this flop. So you're not doing that with aces. You're still calling. Kings, you're still calling. Maybe even jacks or tens, you're still calling. You're never raising. You're never 3-betting on this flop, like any hand. So 4-bet by the villain is perfect, and I don't think you represent anything with the 3-bet. So basically, but I don't think he thinks that deep about the hand. So when he's like just raising the flop, so he's check raising the flop, I think he has something, and he's not going to. This is a paired board, and I don't think he's going to let go of his queen, of his like draw. So he's just going to like try to outplay you and raise you with the draw. So I don't think this type of opponent with 6.5 aggression factor, and he doesn't have like reggish stats. He has close to reggish stats, so he's 26-16. He's more on the calling side. So when he raises here with 6.5 aggression factor, I personally think that your beat and this 3-bet is not that great. So let's get on to the next hand. Thank you, Camcat, for posting this hand. It was really interesting. So it gave me a lot to think. So the question here is Amigoat really thinking that with that 3-bet you're not representing anything, and is he bluffing here? Or so is he thinking that deep and he is like re-bluffing? Or so he's not even, I don't think he's repping that much with the 4-bet on flop. Maybe he would call that 3-bet of yours with a queen or with 5. So maybe I'm wrong and he was on a draw and you shoved with ace 3. That would have been so insane. So yeah, but I think you folded. Yeah, you folded. But a shove there would have been so sick, and just a call with Jack 10 of diamonds or something like that would have been so insane. So let's get on to the next hand, guys. And thank you, Camcat, for posting this. It's pretty awesome. Alright, so I'm now on Joe Simonich's hand, and we have a little smallish problem. So I clicked on hand 1. I went to the thread. I read what's here, like CEO is fish 59-21, button blah blah blah. He min raised queen 8 on queen 7-5 suited 4-way, so obviously he was considering top pair medium kicker to be a kind of a decent holding. So that's why it could be so that he's raising this flop. So this board, he's raising this board with lower jacks, like maybe jack 7, but everything that he's raising this board with, this is a really drawy board. But you have a draw to 2-pair, to a straight, to anything. He might show up with something like king queen here even. That's raising the flop. Flop is most c-bet for value. It could, but yeah, he was passive with low flush draw, turn bottom pair auto position. But the thing is that either might have some sort of, so I like this range. I like the 9-7, 10-8 suited, yeah, jack 8, so all sorts of 2-pair, 8, ace jack suited. But what he's only 3-betting 3%. I'm sorry. So cut off. Yeah, you're not Also, it's this guy. The problem is that I cannot actually see the hand. It says shit. Shit. Gone broke it, son. Shit. And I'm thinking that this thing should be a little. I think a little. I'm sure that you copied the link and just posted it here, but I'm sure that this thing should be a little smaller, shorter. Maybe weak tight has changed, but I cannot see the. I can't see the hand. I can't see the hand. I cannot see the hand. And if I click magic fix it button, it just takes me to the home page. So, eh. Right. So I guess you're just saying that he's 78 for 3 on 80 hands. Like, all right. So basically, he calls with everything. But since he's 3-betting 3%, I'm putting jacks and tens in his range too. I think you missed jack 10 here. All right, king ace jack suited, king jack suited. Why not king jack off? Why not ace jack off? So if he's raising, basically he min raised queen 8 on queen 7-5. So this is also a drawy board. So let's just assign a different range to this. He calls most of his hands. He only 3-bets queens plus and aces, which is 3%. So it's like queens plus and aces 2.6%, right? So he may 3-bet some other hands like jacks or ace queen, but you still don't know that. So I'm just going to take your cards, which are queen jack suited, right? It's queen jack suited. Did you have any? It's queen of clubs, jack of clubs. All right. Let's do this the proper way. So queen of clubs, jack of clubs, and the board was jack of hearts, ten of spades, 8 of clubs. Alright, so I'm just gonna put a little more realistic range here for his raising. So 8, 10s, jacks, because I don't think he 3-bets those. I still think he calls those pre-flop. So jack 10 suited, obviously. 10-8, 10-8. I'm sorry, that was 9-8. So 10-8, 10-8 offsuit. Sorry. Jack 8, Jack 8 offsuit. This is really interesting. Sometimes these players turn up with queens here, but I'm just gonna keep that out because he's 3-betting that. Sometimes I've actually seen players showing up with queens here, so that's kind of annoying, but sometimes it happens. So other than that, 10-9, obviously jack 9, 8-9. Now I'm thinking I could think, like you said here, that he min raised queen 8 offsuit on queen 7-5 suited. Most of these, I'm thinking about 9s here. So most of these players, they kind of call 9s. These are the stats of a calling station. But if you say that he min raised queen 8 on queen 7-5 4-way, then it's I think 9s is not an option. So ace jack offsuit and suited, king jack offsuit and suited, queen jack offsuit and suited. He's raising also these. Any other jacks? I don't think so. Maybe let's even say jack 7, because if you raise queen 8 offsuit on a queen 7-5, he's raising jack 7. So I'm actually putting in jack 7 in his range. And also I said that he'd raise king queen. So having this now, he played. I wouldn't put ace 9 or king 9. It could be, but he played passive with low flush draw. King 9 actually is a double gutter. Like maybe he's raising also. But if he's raising king 9, he's raising ace 9. I don't really think he's raising. I think this is the type that would be calling with that hand. So let's just assign this range. So jack stands 8, ace jack, king jack, queen jack, suited and offsuit, Jack 7, 10-8, 9-8, that's it. Right, so let's calculate. Now you have 52%. So the real question is he ever folding when you're re-raising the flop? Like, is he ever folding when you're 3-betting the flop with Queen Jack? I think this is kind of an interesting situation. Usually when this guy raises there, I'd call the flop. I wouldn't 3-bet because maybe he folds like Jack 7 some of the time, but this player is still a calling station. So yeah, if you're just raising and raise calling the flop, it's perfectly fine with 52% equity. We are good. Even if we take out his Jack 7s and his King Queens, let's say, even if we take out that, we still have 48%. So that's pretty freaking awesome. That's actually not that bad of a range. Oh, and we forgot to put in 9-7. I'm really sorry about that. So 9-7, let's put back the King Queen, let's put back the Jack 7. So 9-7, you also put 10-8, 9-7. Right, so actually Queen 9 is a real possibility here. So Queen 9 is a real possibility here. So let's just, yeah, you have 44%. I just call this flop and call the turn and call the river. Probably if no weird type of hands come. If a Jack comes on the turn, it's super good card for you. Even if a Queen comes on the turn, it might be a good card for you because the opponent might check and you might get the showdown with 2 pairs. So still good. Still good. And you can, if a Queen comes on the turn, you can also call the turn and just either river a full house or just reevaluate. If he doesn't bet the river, you can check and go to showdown with 2 pair, and you beat most of his range there. So I guess that's the analysis for this hand, and just let's go to the second hand that you posted. Alright, Joe, so now it's time to evaluate your second hand. I've already read it, but let's just go to the thread. Anonymous tables, this guy only limped a few times. So what this means is that he is probably calling station, calling fish, limping type of player, so he just wants to see flops. So he relies on his hand strength the most to see flops and basically just try to hit something and then get paid, or maybe just check call a lot. So the players, what you have to understand is that players who limp, I'm just calling it off right now, I'm calling it off. Players who limp rely on their hand strength the most. They never read into you. So that means that basically if they hit something, they go with basically all of it, and if they don't, it's kind of a fit or fold type of thing, if you understand what I'm saying. So these guys are basically the most profitable players to be raising a lot and just c-betting them and just putting them out of their misery, just folding them a lot. So let's just go to the hand. Obviously you're playing full stack, so I like that. You're not running really well. You're you're at just full buying. So let's just see you're playing on Prima, so basically Bet Victor, you're playing, or Stan James or whatever, you're playing 6 max Anonymous. You're on the button with Ace Jack. You have 1 limper. I really like the raise size, so 4x is the perfect isolation size. Not risking that much, not risking less, just putting exactly what is needed to bloat the pot a little bit with your strong hands. So the big blind calls, player 2 calls. I really like the flop bet. It's a little on the smaller side. I'd bet around 4, really, just because you're still betting. If you bet 4, you're still getting called by the same hands. You're either way ahead or way behind. It's a pair board. But this is really a problem. So when fish who limp, like when players, let's just not call him a fish. Maybe he isn't a fish. Maybe he thinks a little bit. So He's obviously playing his hand strength. The question is, has he ever raised? It says only limped a few times, but has he ever raised? So only limped a few times. I mean, he's usually raising only limping a few times, so, or only limped a few times at all and never raised, because if he is raising and he isn't limping aces, kings, queens, so you can exclude aces, kings, queens from his range. But if he's only limp calling, there are you guys don't know this, but there are a lot of players who just limp call aces and kings and queens and stuff like that. So maybe not aces, but a lot of kings and queens have been limped. I have played hands and just basically bet the flop, bet the turn in similar situations, maybe bet the river, or just checked back unimproved, so not an ace, obviously something else, and just gets beaten by kings or queens. So yeah, interesting. let's just go to when he raises you on the flop. He either has a 3, so let's just set his let's say 40% he's limp calling. So let's just do 40%. I'll just add the pairs also, because no one is ever like folding if they are limping like 10-7. They're not folding 3s or deuces. So if he's limping this, how many 3s does he have? That's the question. So obviously he loves suited connectors. So if he had like 5-3, he has 6-3, 7-3 maybe not, 8-3 not, 10-3, Jack-3, maybe Queen-3, right? So what is he raising the flop with? What is he raising the flop with? Clear. Yeah. So 4-3, 5-3, 3s, one combination of jacks. It's kind of not accountable for, but it still counts. Ace jack, and if you say king jack, let's just put in king jack. But I think that most players just call king jack. Let's also add like queen jack, just for the purpose of this exercise. Let's also add kings, queens, and aces. If he doesn't raise ever and he's limp calling, he is raising those hands on the flop. So let's just try to pair this range against your ace jack, ace of spades, jack of clubs. So ace of spades, jack of clubs, right? And the board is 3 jack of spades, 3 of clubs, 3 of diamonds. So let's just check this out. You're still at 40%. So you're pretty okay-ish. But if so 40% is a decent amount to be just calling. But I think he's pretty tight. Like I think he's tighter than this. I don't think like if he's raising. I don't think he's raising these hands. I really don't. I don't think he's raising these hands. So right now, if he's not raising king jack and queen jack, if you don't have any tendencies on the player, I don't think he's ever raising queen jack or king jack 3-way. That's the point of the thing. 3. That's the number to be remembering. 3-way. So he was raising like this 3-way. Even if the big blind folded and the fish still raises, it's still 3-way for him. It's not for you because you know game theory, but it's still 3-way for him. He knows that you bet into 3 people. So the only question here is he raising these hands or not. If he's not, just fold. I was in a similar situation yesterday, and it was really different because I had stats on the player. So he was really fishy, like 70 40, a lot of raises, and I just called him down with king queen on queen 5-5, and he had the 5. So but he was really fishy, like a ton of things. And he also later in another pot he raised bottom pair. So he raised bottom pair on the flop. So that's something else. But here I don't think, like, with no further info on the player, I think it's kind of a really good spot to be folding and not losing that much. So I'd advocate fold here. So guys, this will be basically the last hand that we're going to evaluate in this video, and after that I'm closing it down. So bros, just go to forum poker strategy, go to my thread, go to professional advice, and just post here, I want more hands, I want more questions. Come on guys, just post the links to the hands that you posted in the forum. So just take the link, go to poker strategy, go to your thread, just go to this, just copy the link, and just post it in the thread, and you're good to go basically. So I was gonna review the last hand. This is a really freaking interesting hand. So you have aces. This is no limit 400. The villain is 40, 21, 4. So it kind of looks a little. So the guys who re-raise like only 4 here. I guess they're maybe kind of tight post flop from my experience, but let's just see the hand. So aggression 0.9, he never raises the flop. 2.0, sometimes raises the turn. 6.5, basically always maybe bets the river if it's checked to him, or likes to raise the river sometimes. So 6.5 on the river is a lot. For 157 hands, these stats could not be relevant just because he could be just running good over 157 hands, so it's kind of fine. But went to showdown 32. It's kind of a lot. It should be around 25 or something. So basically, went to showdown 32. He's a station. He's a calling station. But 6.5 aggression on the river. If you check to him, he bets. If you bet, he sometimes raises. That's what 6.5 means. That's a lot. That's a lot of aggression. So basically, the hand is like this. No limit 400. Aces, you raise. He calls from the big blind. Up comes king, queen, 6, 2 hearts. That's a very awesome flop for you. You bet, he calls. Turn another heart. He also almost never has a flush draw just because you have the ace of hearts here. So you bet again, he calls. So I'm putting most of his range on value type of hand. So that's why. River is gin card basically for you. You bet, he min raises you. So basically what he's saying is he's having a value hand. The question here is he really flatting king deuce preflop? Because obviously his range here is king queen and 6s, like obviously, but is he flatting king deuce preflop? That is the question. So this could be the case. So let's just analyze for king queen and 6s. Let's just analyze for king queen and 6s for now. Just take aces, put the board in, put in queen of hearts, king of hearts, and a 6 of spades, and deuce of hearts, and deuce of clubs. So if we evaluate this, you're at 75% if he's only having king queen and 6s. So if he also has king deuce, let's just analyze for king deuce suited right now. So if he also has king deuce, you're still ahead. But if he has king deuce offsuit, you're exactly at 50-50. Oh, that's freaking amazing. So the combos that beat you are exactly the combos that you beat. So just shove here, shove like all of the time. He could also have like I don't know, maybe 9-10 of hearts. I could be putting him on some sort of like this sort of range, like jack 10, 9, 9-8, 8-7, hearts. So if he has these types of combos here, so this is only hearts. Alright, hearts. You're kind of drawing to 40%, but it's still a call. It's a min raise on the river. It's still a call, but it's not a shove. So depends on what kind of range you put him, but I'm kind of weirdly disgusted by the raise on the river. I don't think it's like you're always beat. I don't think it's like you're always beat, but most of the times I think you are. I don't think it's a shove here. Basically, I think that's what you're asking, but it's kind of a 6 spot, like it's not a shoving spot. It's kind of a I hate this call spot, but you have to do it. So basically, you can't do anything. You have to call here and just hope to be good, like maybe 30% of the time. So you have to call 112. Let's just calculate that. It's the pot is 150 plus 112 plus 224. So you have to call 486, 112 to win. 486 plus 112, it's almost 600, it's 598. So it's basically this times 100. You need 18%. So 18% is like him only having maybe him not having king queen there. So like basically sixes, all the flush combinations, and the king deuce, and never have, let's say only king queen suited. Even if he has only king queen suited, I'm just gonna put the king deuce, the sixes, and the king queen suited, and the aces here. You can, I'm sorry, I have to put the board. Obviously, the board was king of hearts, queen of hearts, two sixes. I'm sorry, 1 6 and 2 deuces. So you can still call here, even if he only has 3 combinations of king queen. You can still call here. So I'm just calling. I'm not shoving that river. It's kind of player dependent. You might be missing on a lot of value there, but I think it also has the purpose. The call also has the purpose to reduce the variance. So that's why. So basically, guys, that's kind of it for this video. The next video I'll be either analyzing the hands that you post in my thread, or just scrolling around the Poker Strategy forum and just analyzing some other hands. So basically, thanks a lot for viewing this, and see you next time, guys. So, and see you guys.
He beats me. Straight up. Pay him. Pay that man his money.